Remember, that was the one that you guys didn't like particularly too much. All right, in this one, I would ask you, what is his view of urbanization?
He did this from the sub.
I mean, no, wait, that was wrong. What I was saying what I was trying to say. But is this also still urban?
Yes, these are all urbanization. All right, so when taking a look at this, first of all, if you see a title like The Metropolis and the Mental Life, automatically, do you think it's going to be positive or negative?
I have no idea.
Mental.
Positive.
We're talking about the metropolis of the city and mental life.
Negative.
It's probably going to be negative, because why else would you be talking about the mental life of someone if it was going to turn out to be positive? That, yay, the city makes everyone so happy.
Truth.
Think of it this way, what is like the uniform color of native New Yorkers? What do they wear?
Black.
Black.
Gray.
So they, or you can go into the gray, but black, so that like all the dirt from like the subway, the streets and everything doesn't get rid of it on their clothes. All right. So if you took a look at this, what do you think the most important words you should be reading?
The highlighted ones.
The ones that are in bold.
Bold.
So, man is a differentiating creature, meaning we're constantly changing, and we have to adjust for our surroundings, our environment. Then our next little thing that's highlighted. The intellect, however, has its locus, its center, in the transparent, conscious, higher layers of the psyche, which is a whole bunch of psychological mumbo-jumbo. So, do you think it's likely that I'm going to ask a question about that?
No.
So you skip over. All right. The next thing is actually just a phrase within a sentence. So let's read the entire sentence. Thus, the metropolitan type of man, which of course exists in 1,000 individual variants, just like we have up above, man is a differentiating creature, develops an organ protecting him against the threatening currents and discrepancies of his external environment, which would uproot him.
So once again,
The city, we have to develop an organ to protect ourselves against the city.
Huh.
Is this a positive or negative view of urbanization?
Negative.
Negative.
It also says down there, it says like a...
Yeah,
Like the
intellectuality
last one, yeah.
is thus seen to preserve subjective life against the overwhelming power of the metropolitan life. So we're using our intellect, we're using our knowledge to try and shield ourselves from the subjective, which is what we are being hit against. Everything that comes at you, you're viewing through a subjective lens. And so you have to use your intelligence to go from the subjective to the objective. And when you make that switch, and so you're not subjectively taking everything that the city's throwing at you personally, you become objective and you're like, oh, this is happening, but it's external for me. You can protect yourself from the metropolitan life, the city life. So obviously, negative. Do you understand this one a little bit better?
For sure.
All right. Probably the only other one that I would ask about is Decline of the West.
Kanye West.
You wish. All right, Oswald Spengler,
Wait, what is this? What is this called?
Decline of the West.
I'm not even in this class.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I don't go to the school.
All right. In Decline of the West, take a look at this first paragraph here. What makes the man of the world cities incapable of living on any but this artificial footing is that the cosmic beat in his being is ever decreasing while the tensions of his waking consciousness become more and more dangerous. This then is the conclusion of the city's history, growing from primitive barter center to culture city and at last to world city. It sacrifices first the blood and soul of its creators to the needs of its majestic evolution, and then the first flower of that growth to the spirit of civilization. And so doomed moves on to final self-destruction.
I'm going to throw out there negative.
Yes, this would be negative.
All these are going to be negative or positive, right?
It's M1. Every single one is negative. It's
Manhattan.
The what?
Yeah.
Say it again. Manhattan.
Yeah, they will all be in that like negative realm. You do not have to go all the way to, actually Spangler, I might actually throw in there, we are all leading to self-destruction.
Oh, you better.
Because that's the final line of that first paragraph.
Oh, so we're all, okay.
So that may be the only one that's not like necessarily negative, but
Okay.
we will self-destruct.
Oh, so that's the one that's getting, oh.
Yes.
So,
Because that's the natural evolution. Think of it this way. Every empire that has risen, what eventually happens to it?
Falls.
It falls. No empire still exists to this day that existed hundreds of years ago.
Ottoman Empire. Nope.
I like to think
Turkey.
Atlantis
it
exists.
does, I'm positive. I've been there.
This Sasquatch
A
came
lot
in.
of flags are here.
All right.
They're living in my bag.
So, any other questions on the urbanization? Because I probably won't ask you any questions about any of the other ones. Those are the ones that I'm most likely to ask about.
For these, you don't need to be that
Alright.
You just need to be able to read and say, this is
Yes.
this, and this is.
Yeah, you need to be able to read the entire text.
You would be surprised at how many people do not read. Hence the reason why the number one missed question on the World War I and World War II test was the one that gave us.
I got it.
No, I got it.
How do we get to the Google Doc information when it's?
Guess who fronted me last night? Miller. No.
Christine Goldhawk's cousin.
You were so not on.
Do you know Corky talks to your cousin?
Yeah, I know.
Does he actually?
Yeah.
Yes, he
like,
does.
they chat.
That's creepy.
How old is
Strange.
To the heck with him.
Louis, how old is he?
Oh, let me see.
It's right there.
All right, the number one question that was missed. What effect did U.S. entry have on the outcome of World War I? The vast majority of students answered U.S. troop involvement caused dissension among the Allies, thus allowing the Central Powers to win the war.
That's what I said.
Last time I checked,
I don't remember that question. I don't remember the test.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Germany was a Central Power, and Germany did not win World War I.
Wait,
So-
What was the right answer?
What effect did U.S. entry have on the outcome of World War
What are
I?
all the options?
Your options were A, the entrance of fresh and healthy troops turned the tide in favor of the
I said
Allies.
that.
Yeah.
B, U.S. troop involvement encouraged Japan to increase its troops and attack the United States.
No, they already did that.
Oh, a bunch of people circled that one too,
I
but
don't remember.
that's World War II, not World War I.
Jeepers.
C, there was little to no measurable effect of the war. Hence the reason why we're still fighting it today. D, the entrance of U.S. troops prolonged the war by adding another dimension to the fighting.
It's either B or
I
D.
think I said
It's
A.
U.S. troop involvement caused dissension among the Allies, thus allowing the Central Powers to win the
So
war.
it's A or
A.
A.
Nice.
But the number of people who came up with Germany won the war, that would be a problem. So read the question and read all of the answers. I'll give you a good hint here. With your multiple choice selections, make each of the answers a true-false statement. Is this statement true? If it is, it's a possible answer. If it's false, then go ahead and mark it off right away.
Maybe like 900
That's
more.
what I don't last test.
But I mean, I'm sure that.
Yeah.
I know.
There are going to be questions that you're just immediately going to know the answer to. The ones where you're starting to kind of like wonder a little bit, those are the ones just go ahead and mark it off. Okay. So as you're going through women's rights, you should have access to a Google Doc.
You just do that.
I think I might still need to give access to like the other classes. I will look at that this afternoon. You know, the order that women got the right to vote, and I mean